Today we will be going over the second video in section 4, creating responsive user interfaces, styling with Bootstrap. In this video, we will use the Bootstrap panel's objects and the styling that comes with it to give our application and our snippets a real nice look and feel. We'll add some buttons instead of links to give it that polished look, and then we'll do some basic UI cleanup to make sure that everything looks nice and balanced on the page. So taking a quick look at the Bootstrap documentation, we can see here a panel with heading. Okay, and we want our UI to look similar to this, so each snippet will have a nice title to it and a nice content section inside of it. Here's what the CSS or the HTML looks like with the different classes. You can see the panel, panel heading, and panel body. So we're going to go ahead and use that inside of our own application. So inside of our tmpl-snippets.html file, inside of our snippet template, we're going to go ahead and declare a div, and we're going to give it a lot of different classes. We're going to give it the snippet class, the panel class, and the panel success. The panel and the panel success, give it those dimensions and that polish from Bootstrap. Okay, we're going to wrap everything inside of that. Okay, everything looks good there. Okay, we're now ready to declare the header, okay, and the body. So let's start with the header. We're going to create a new div, and it's going to have a class property of panel-heading, like so. Right, we're going to wrap the title inside of a H3 to give it a little bit more boldness. And we're going to also wrap it inside of the class of panel title so that it's properly positioned. Okay, we'll go ahead and put a reference to the text right there. Everything looks in order for our title. We'll check that in just a minute. And now we're going to go ahead and do our body. So we're going to do a div panel-body. Okay, and inside of here, we're actually going to put a little bit of a placeholder. We're going to put the word desk, D-E-S-C. Now that property doesn't exist yet, but we're going to go ahead and add descriptions a little bit later. So we're going to just put this in as a placeholder for now. Our next order of business is to clean up the URL just a little bit. Now remember, it used to be kind of like the header. We don't want it to be that anymore. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that particular div, we're going to pull it out, and inside of our ahref here, we're now going to declare it as a new class, and we're going to make it a button. So we're going to put in the btn, and the btn large, we're going to make it a rather large button, and then btn info to give it that kind of a white with the blue background. We'll just put the word link inside of there. And that should be enough to style it. We do need to take out our else statement because we don't need it anymore. If the link doesn't exist, then the button's not going to be there. Okay, we don't need anything else if there's not a button because we have the title up here, as you can see inside of panel-title in our H3. So we've got our description that we'll use in a little bit. We've got our new ahref inside of just a fresh, clean if is link with no else statement. And now let's see what it looks like. All right, so yeah, everything looks pretty good. We do notice that the link is hugging the side just a little bit there. So let's go ahead and fix that. We're going to go inside of our is link statement, and we're going to create a panel body. Okay, we didn't wrap that ahref inside of a panel body, and this will show you some of the style that's built directly into Bootstrap. So as we save that change, now you can see perfect. All right, the links are in place. They're properly set up so that they look all nice, and we're going to now go in. We don't really like the height. Okay, the snippets and the panels are just a little bit too large, so we're going to go ahead and do a min height. And we're going to shorten that down a little bit. Now, what this will allow us to do when we're using a min height instead of a height is it will grow with it. So if we do have a rather long description, it will show up properly. But now you can see everything looks great. It's all nice and lined up. Now we're going to go into tmpl-snippets.html once more. And inside of here, we are going to add a little bit of a gutter inside of our container, okay? This is just some spacing in between the different snippets, about 4 pixels. You can see that that looks really, really great inside of there. So everything's looking nice and snappy. The UI is nice and responsive, and we are ready to add some interactivity. Okay, so we went over the Bootstrap panel object, and we were able to create those for our snippets. They look nice and professional. We changed out the typical URL with a button using btn and btn info, and we were able to clean up the UI with some simple additions to either the masonry container or to the CSS. Our next video is going to be additional interactivity. We're going to really get going and add some additional functionality to our snippets application. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.